Hi everyone, and welcome to the Lund University International Podcast. On the show, we aim to give you a taste of international student life at Lund as we speak to current students, alumni, teachers, and many more special guests. My name is Rebecca van der Steen, and I am a strategic recruitment coordinator here at Lund University. Today we're joined by Xuan and Bénédicte to talk about finding an internship as an international student. So Xuan and Bénédicte, welcome. Lovely to see you here. I know you've both recently returned from your internships, right? Great. So we're really excited to hear about that today and to just find out a little bit more about how it's been for you, what kind of experiences you've had, good and bad, how you found the internship, that kind of thing. So would you like to first start by introducing yourselves?
Yes. So hi, nice to meet you, and thank you for inviting me today. It's really an honor. It's really good to be back in Lund. It's so beautiful today. So my name is Xuan, and I am the second year master student in the program of Media and Communication Study at Lund University. So I just finished an internship as the company calls at Alva Labs AB with the headquarters in Stockholm. And my internship is 15 weeks.
Great. Okay, and Bénédicte?
Yes, hello. Happy to be here as well. So I'm doing the second year of my Master's in Development Studies, and I did an internship course as part of my third semester already. And I was at the Finnish Consulting Group, which is a private company in international development, so very related to my studies, and I was very happy about it, in Stockholm as well. And I just came back a few days ago in Lund.
Great. And Bénédicte, you're originally from Mauritius, right?
I am, yes, correct.
Xuan?
Oh yeah, I am from Vietnam.
Great. Okay, just in case anybody's listening from those countries and they want to identify with you. Wonderful. Okay, so let's start off by talking about what kind of internship opportunities are available to international students at Lund University. So for you guys, it was part of your program, right? And I think that's quite common. So you and all the other students on your course, were you all offered an internship?
Yeah, so for my program, for the third semester, we have 3 different choices. Mm-hmm. So we can go on an internship, or we can continue with study different courses, either in Lund or in any university in Sweden, or we can go on an exchange semester in other country as well. So for my classes, we have around 30 students, and around 11 of us have the internship.
Okay. So was there a reason why you decided to go for the internship rather than, for example, studying another specialist course or going abroad?
Yeah, so for me, I really want a practical experience, getting to know the job market, getting to know the professional environment in Sweden. So that is why when I applied to Lund University and my program, and I saw that it's internship an option for the third semester, I was really excited, and I already have in my mind that is I really want to do an internship in the third semester. So that is why, the main reason.
That's cool. Was it kind of the same for you, Bénédicte?
Yeah, same in terms of program structure and almost the reasons to go for an internship. I think as an international student and the resident permit requirements, you are encouraged to stay in Sweden as much as possible during your studies. Yeah. And I've already done an exchange when I was in my bachelor's, when I was in Malaysia. I went to Australia. So I already knew what it was to study abroad, and I'm also studying abroad right now. So I felt that having work experience in Sweden would be a nice thing to try. The only caveat would be that most internships would require Swedish. So I knew from the start, if I cannot find something that is okay with English, I would just go for courses. So internship would have been a good option if it was possible, and it was. So
that's good. Yeah, but that's nice to have that backup.
But I don't know if it's the same for you, Bénédicte, in your program, but in my program, actually, internship, it doesn't require to be in Sweden only. So, in 11 of us doing the internship, my classmates, they also do internship in different country. So I have my friend doing internship in Canada, in Poland, in Finland. So it's actually open to anywhere as long as that you find a placement the work placement that they take you in as an intern.
Okay. And so I guess that's also quite nice if, say, you want to go back to your home country as well for some students, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe they already have contacts there, that kind of thing, and they can find something. So that's cool. So it seems quite flexible. Yeah. Great. And in terms of like finding your internship, how did you both find your internships sourcing it, like getting it? So for you?
For me, it was quite, easy maybe, because the good things, I'm at the graduate school, my department, part of the Faculty of Social Sciences, and we use a website called Canvas for our courses, and they published for anyone who was interested in the internship course a list of potential internship hosts, many of which were required Swedish as a language skill, with only 3 asking that you can just speak English and that will be fine. So I applied to the 3 of them, thinking it's okay if I don't get in, and I got into one, so that was nice.
Yeah, for me, the experience was different, so it's actually quite very difficult for me. I knew that I want to do an internship, so I actually started looking very early. I started looking since January last year, so it's like in the semester before. And I applied to a lot of places. Also that was also when a lot of big company, they will start advertising about autumn internship already. So I mainly looked on LinkedIn and also using the Lund University job portal. So it's a really helpful resources as well. And it's the same, I also need to look for internship that doesn't require Swedish, because I am not good at Swedish at all. And it takes a little bit of time, and it's a really long process, but basically I applied since January, and I actually got the first interview for the current internship here in February. And then the whole recruitment process, it takes another 2 months, and I only land my offer in May.
Okay, so it took a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's a really good tip as well about searching for internships through various, channels like LinkedIn and that kind of thing. And I'm thinking about a couple of different things now. So do you guys have any other tips in terms of finding the internship? Because it sounds like your main tip, Xuan, would be just start early. But do you have any other suggestions or tips on how to find the internship?
For me, yes, the first thing is start to look early, because realistically speaking, it's very competitive, because it's not just the student in Sweden, it's also student everywhere, to be honest. And if you really want a good internship, that is where you can learn a lot, and then let's say good brand name, they also advertise very early, and the competition is very strong, so start early. And also highlight, my second tip would be really highlight your academic, and then also your extracurricular activity in your resume or CV, because that is what they really look in personality and characteristic when they want to find a new intern. Just highlight any kind of association, any kind of voluntary work that you do, or even I joined in the Lund Unique Instagram contest last year. I even included that. And little things really counted. So anything that is you feel proud, and then you feel it shows that a person you are, that is just include it.
Do you feel like that's kind of what Swedish employers and Swedish companies are looking at, is the whole person, or those extra things as well? Yeah,
I think so, because it's very interesting to hear Xuan, because I was not as determined to get an internship in the first place.
Well, you had your backup, I guess. You were thinking I will have,
That's true. And just maybe to give some context to people listening, so internships in Sweden are generally unpaid, because they target, let's say, Swedish students who receive this form of loan from the government, so they don't need a salary from the internship host. It's just part of their studies. So international students actually are not the target group, let's say, but they are welcome to apply and get a position if the organizer is interested. And I think a tip could be to look for international companies or companies that have an outlook to the world, basically. And let's say, in my case, I was from Mauritius. I speak other languages like French or Spanish, a bit of Swedish. But you have this idea of you've been traveling, you've been studying abroad, you've encountered different cultures or been used to people thinking differently from what where you come from. So that is generally interesting if you have an organization that is looking for this international profile. And as Xuan was saying, yes, I don't know about how competitive it is, but I guess it has to be, because it's generally students doing their bachelor's or master's in Sweden, Swedish or not Swedish, who will be looking for something at the same time during the course of the semester. So this is something that you could consider, of course.
Yeah, and then I think that to your question about like, is it like the personality or the characteristic that the Swedish company is looking for? I guess that is generally speaking is it's not just the Sweden, but I think that in any kind of work placement, especially at an intern. So intern is like entry level, let's say. They what they really want to see us is like the ability and the willing to learn. And to, learn and to adapt, like how to maximize the skill, even though we have like basically zero experience in Sweden. So I think that is like by showing like what activity that you did in the school, or how like related or how passionate you are with the position that you're applying for. You show them that it's like you really want this opportunity and you want to have the chance to prove to them that it's like I am now capable of like taking on responsibility. And I would say another tip is like I just remember that is like really have like research and know about the company and the job that you're applying to, because this is very interesting for my case. So my internship is about marketing and communication, so it's also related to my program. And the company is, they have a startup doing technology in AI development and also technologies. And that is like my personal interest. And what I highlighted in my CVs was a few of like the essay and the project group work that I did in my courses that related to like AI and also like technologies. And that was why like my profile stood out. And then like they invited me to the first interview, because actually they asked about my essay. They asked, I saw that you wrote about this topic. So can you talk a little bit more about what you wrote and why you were interested in it? So yeah, I think that is like there's certainly a relation between like the company, the industry, and then like what you did in the school.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I think lots of our international students are coming to Sweden with a lot of experience, actually, with different work and stuff like this in the past. So I think that automatically helps when you come to look for this kind of thing, because you are bringing, like you said, this skill set that is like to do with the fact that you are actually coming from a different place and you're studying here and that kind of thing. So I see why it would be very beneficial when you're applying for internships.
Not a tip, but it was just a preference, which of course I understood towards the end of my internship. But the company I was part of is relatively small. We were a staff of 15, 20 people. And that gives opportunities to participate more in the task, because they need help, essentially. It might be harder if you're looking for an organization of 500 people and they already have people employed in the tasks they are required to do. So if you want to be very involved, I mean, smaller organizations will definitely need more help. So that could be something to think of.
So did the internships kind of meet your expectations in the end? Was it good, bad? What was the kind of overall experience? Or even if you just want to tell a little bit about, how it went for you in reality and the experience you had. So maybe we start with you, Bénédicte.
Yeah, of course. So for me, again, I'm very interested to hear what Xuan will say, but I had very little expectations from the start. For me, it was a way to leave Lund in a bit, because I appreciated the structure a program gives, either going for an internship or an exchange. just go out of Lund and then come back and tell us what you saw and who you became or who you met.
Right.
So it was interesting to go away from Lund, go to Stockholm. It was my first time ever. I never thought in my life I would be working and living in Stockholm. So I was very happy. So on a personal note, I think I was interested in that. And on a professional career path, it was very nice because I got to see a different view of development compared to what we hear in classes. I saw the role of, let's say, a private company sourcing experts to do the projects of international development organizations.
Right, yeah.
We're talking usually about SIDA, which is the Swedish International Development Agency. And I've been to SIDA, the headquarters in Stockholm, because I was in Stockholm. So it was easy. Something you might not be able to do if you're in Lund, for example.
Right, yeah.
So it gives access to new opportunities and things you've not even dreamed of. So I was extremely satisfied and it went beyond my expectations and I'm very happy. Sometimes it just requires you to leave a place and just go away for a bit to open your horizon. And if I can say this, for people who like traveling, there's a sentence that says the first travel is when you get out of your doorstep.
Yeah, exactly.
And as soon as you're willing to discover something new, that's already traveling. And it can be in the same country.
Yeah, it's so true. I think like that's a wonderful message as well for any of the students that are listening that are hoping to, come here to study, because it is just one step at a time, right? The first step and then the next step and then suddenly, yeah.
I think that's a very direct conclusion and also like a highlight because that I would echo that the first thing. So the first thing is like it's really an experience and it's really such a big change. So regardless that's like how you personally feel about it in the end, I think that is a change in environment, a change in location. Even though like you can find internship in, let's say in Malmo, it's also like a different environment compared to Lund. So like it is the first thing that I would highlight. For me, I think I am very lucky because even though like I didn't have high expectation, I do have like a little bit expectation, but like the internship went beyond my expectation. I had a really great experience, and that mainly because first is because of like the company, and then my team and my supervisor. They is very supportive and like I feel really like fit in the place, and then also like I was and then I am very interested in the company business and what I do there, and I feel like I could learn a lot from there, and I actually learn a lot. I feel like every day I learn a new thing about technology industry, about the professional skill, and but I would say that the most valuable learning for me is actually like how I can apply what I studied in the course in my first year in Lund to some of the work I did in my internship. So my study about media and communication, right? So and then my job is like marketing communication. So there's a lot of like relation and there's a lot of moment I was like, oh, I learned about this last year in Lund, and then like it's so interesting to see how it applies into the practical, the real life situation. So that is really nice, and of course that's like in Stockholm, it's a very different experience and it's a valuable. And then like I treasure any moment. So I really appreciated the chance and then like the experience I have.
Oh, that's so brilliant to hear that you both had such good experiences, and like you said that you could find practical real life applications of what you were learning and all of that kind of thing as well is so useful. That's really cool. So for both of you, I guess you both had to do interviews before you got the internship. So do you have any tips for that part of the process? Because it sounds like, especially for you, Xuan, it was quite a long and intensive process. So any tips for anyone who's going to be doing interviews?
So for me, I think it's 3 rounds. So first round is the interview in person with my future supervisor. The second round is like I doing kind of like a case. So they give me a case, and it's of course like kind of like they tailor it to fit in the position. So basically they give a case situation and they ask like what I would do in the situation.
Right, like a scenario type thing.
Yeah, and of course I was given a time frame to do it, like 48 hours. actually that's the last step I forgot. So the first step is actually I need to do a kind of like a test. So like personality and logic test. So so that would be, I would say like the standard would be around 2 rounds. So like the first and the second. So my tip would be, especially for interview, is about like first and foremost, you really need to kind of like have a good idea about the job you're applying.
Yeah, like do your research.
Yeah, exactly. Do your research. It's not about like you need to know how to do all of that in a job description, but you have an idea like what you're gonna do, and also like a little bit about the company itself because it's really related. So that's the first thing. And then I think the second thing is again like what you wrote in CV, in your resume. You need to you should remember what you wrote.
You should be prepared to talk about it.
Yeah, and then basically do a verbal presentation of it. Yeah. And then the last tip for me could be like, just like in any kind of interview, to be honest, just like be authentic.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Because that, I think that is like what is like it's really like highly appreciated here. Like you show how a person you are.
Yeah. They can tell, I'm sure, if you're not being as well.
I mean, the whole process took less time, and I started later, and things went quickly. For example, at the end of during the interview, they asked me, "Are you thinking of coming to Stockholm?" I was like, "No, I mean, I did not think about that." And then I started thinking, and when I was offered the internship, I was like, "Okay, let's just go." So I did not plan it too long ahead, let's say.
Yeah.
But in terms of tips, definitely be honest, because you can have the same approach with different organizations, because at the end, you're still the same person. And one might like your profile better than the other. So don't worry too much about, fitting. It's more about being yourself, because if you try to become someone else just for the interview, it might, catch you later down the road. But I can say, just to give an example of being honest, I received one of the weirdest questions during the interview, which at the end made a lot of sense a few months later. But the question was, what are your opinions on the private sector? And do you have any problems working in the private sector? And I was like, this is the weirdest question I've received. And I explained, absolutely not in Mauritius. The context is the private sector was an important part of development, as we talk about it today. So for me, it's absolutely not a problem.
It's natural, yeah.
It's an important actor in what we're doing. And I got in. I don't know if it's because of what I said, but it's just giving my background and what I was exposed to. And a few months afterwards, when I finished the internship now, I realized that, according to some of my friends, the private sector in Sweden is not necessarily well seen upon it. It's associated with ideas of profit making, billions. We're talking, I don't know. When my company was small and did not generate a lot of money, it was just to keep the lights of electricity going.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see how, you just switch countries, you just switch context, and you have different perspectives on the same topic.
Exactly. And it seems like for you guys, you were authentic in the interviews and it worked because it was a good match and you had a great time. And if you perhaps hadn't been yourself, like it seems like they spent a lot of time and thought picking you guys because they knew you would fit and it was right. So it just shows that it's a good idea. Really. Yeah.
And also if I can add one thing. I think that is also like not just do the research about the company, but I would call this is like do a research about yourself. Because of like one of the question that I received, and it's also a very typical question in any job interview, is like, so what I am expected to get out of this internship. So they will ask about like our expectation for the internship. So you actually need to prepare for that because you need to know what you want. And you need to share with them so that it like, because this is what my supervisor told me in the beginning. And then also this is what she keep telling me throughout the whole internship that really helpful for me. She always asks me, so like, I want you to be here and be able to learn as much as possible. So let me know like what you want to learn. Let me know like which area, which aspect, which kind of like task you want to try. And what kind of like experience you want to get out of this internship, and then we can make the most of it. So I think that's also very important.
Brilliant. That's so great. So I think I'd just like to really wrap up with if you have any additional tips or any last messages that you would like to give the people who are listening who might be looking for internships later. I mean, you've given already so many good tips, but any last messages or things you want to tell them?
For me, I have one.
Yeah.
And this is what my mentor gave me, and I think it's really brilliant. So I know that is finding an internship might be hard, might be competitive. It can be stressful. If you feel it's stressful, you can have different way of approach it. But regardless, it's like I said in the beginning, it's experience. And the most important thing is, I think that is don't forget to enjoy it. Yeah, so it's a journey. It's a part of your journey, a master journey, or bachelor journey. It's a part of your journey in Sweden, and it's a part of your journey with the program. So regardless, just try not to get stuck in the own serious stuff and forget to actually enjoy the journey.
Yes,
so by saying that, I mean say hi to the colleague when you go to office. Enjoy a little bit of fika coffee with them, and then chat with your supervisor, and then just connect with different colleagues, and then enjoy your location wherever it in Stockholm or in another country. It's really amazing experience, to be honest. Or maybe I don't know. It's just I really had a good experience.
It really sounds like you guys made the most of it. Yeah,
so sure. I really want to share the inspiration.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you.
For me, I think, I don't know, it's not to idealize internships, but I was not planning on doing it. I did because it happened, kind of thing. But I think the most important is to know what you want to achieve. So if it's about, going to a new place within the same country, or working and get some experience, or just staying in Lund and do courses, I think at the end what matters is to know yourself, what is it that you want.
Yeah.
And from then you have a plan, and then you can go ahead. Because the internship, well, you might need to wake up early and travel 1 hour depending on where you live in Stockholm, because it's a big it's a capital. Yes, so if you know what you're doing and what you want to do, you will be able to do it.
Yeah, it's great motivation. Yeah. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here today and for sharing your experiences. And best of luck with your future plans as well, the rest of your studies.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Lund University International Podcast. If you're interested in learning more about Lund University, you can go to our website, lunduniversity.lu.se. You can also follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook and X, and you can chat with current students on Unibuddy. Don't forget to subscribe, and we look forward to bringing you a new episode very soon.